Good evening. Hello, welcome. The attendees are still joining in, and we'll just wait for another minute or so to allow everybody to join in, and then we'll start formally. Please stand by, people, as you're joining in. Be patient, and we are lined up for a very wonderful session, and you are going to love this. So just a bit of patience. People are joining in. It takes a bit of time. Technology is fast, but still it takes its own sweet time. So we'll be just starting it in next maximum 2 minutes. Hello and welcome once again. My name is Rupesh Sinha. I am head admissions at ABBS Bangalore. And along with me, we have Dr. D.M. Mahishi. We are really privileged to have him because as the topic of the webinar is related to career opportunities in biotech. And the theme is that whether we can look beyond MBBS and direct medical-based careers in this particular field. And I'll begin by reading out his brief profile. Dr. D.M. Mahishi is PhD in genetics, and he is post-doctoral in biotechnology training at University of Florida. He has a great deal of experience both in research as well as in industry. Not to forget that the academics is one of the areas where he has done extremely well. He has experience in commercial tissue culture. He has done a lot of research and training in biotechnology. And he has worked at the molecular biology level, working with DNA sequences, right? And today we are fortunate to have him, and he will guide you young minds in terms of what you should expect, what you should plan, and what are the steps that you should take if you are serious in terms of having a career in the field of biotechnology. But before I hand over the baton to him, I have a small little quiz, right, which will just be instrumental in getting us going, because I'm expecting the crowd to be really insightful, and I think most of you are fresh from appearing in the exams for your class 12th. So let us see that how many of whatever you studied, how much you recall, and whether you can answer these simple questions. This is no test, guys. This is just as exercise to get us going intellectually, right? Because it's 6 p.m. in the evening. You must have a tiring day, but now you are sitting here. So let us have that refreshment, intellectual refreshment, to get us going, right? So all set. The questions will flash on your screen, and you have to answer them, right? And the questions will be there on your screen right now. I think you can see these questions. All the questions you can see in one go. You can scroll down and answer, right? And in a minute, I'll end the poll, so we don't have a lot of time to answer these questions. Okay, very nice, very nice. People have started answering. How many chambers does the human heart have? I think there cannot be an easier question for bio stream students, right? It could be a simple teaser. Which of the following is responsible for who you are? Okay, I'm getting answers. Fair enough. Some correct answers too. Okay, very nice. I think we have a great crowd. What are the end products of cellular respiration? Oh, very nice, very nice. This is a good crowd indeed. Okay. And the answers are quick also. Great. Great. Amazing. Amazing. Right, guys. So answer to the first question is definitely we have 4 chambers in our heart. If I remember correctly, 2 auricles, 2 ventricles. Right. Which of the following is responsible for who you are? Genes, chromosomes, DNA, everything, because they are part and parcel of each other. Right, you cannot. Dr. Mahishi knows much better. And cellular respiration definitely results in ATP and H2O. Right, so fair enough. So I'm assured that I'm in a great company, and some great people are there to listen to this webinar. And with this, I'll just share results also. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So it's a pleasure to have you, sir, and I welcome you formally. And I and all the attendees here look forward to a great, informative, insightful session. It's over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rupesh, and welcome to all the students of biology who are looking forward for an interesting and prospective career in life sciences. We are happy to introduce to you the fascinating world of biotechnology. It is a interdisciplinary subject which revolves around the study of cellular systems in microorganisms, animal or plant cells, and control the system to produce a new product or process having commercial applications in pharmaceuticals, in food processing, agriculture, environmental science, genomics, and other allied fields. New diagnostic methods, new drugs, new treatment methods like gene therapy, immunotherapy, new enzymes in food processing, genetically modified crop plants, techniques for clearing environmental pollutants like plastics or heavy metals, drug designing, large scale vaccine production, all need an immense application of biotechnology. You need a basic degree with microbiology, biochemistry, genetics, and biotechnology. To become an expert in biotechnology, you need a postgraduate degree. And to become a scientist, you need a doctoral or postdoctoral degree. So you have a very, very uh, prospective career here, which if you are having a passion, then sky is the limit for you to achieve because it is a subject where you have the satisfaction of contributing to the society, to the science and the welfare of human beings and the environment. So if you get into this, you will make a life much more satisfying than any other field I can say. And you are into a field which is very, very in close relation with the medical science or healthcare system. Because healthcare system today has modernized to the extent that it is heavily dependent on the techniques of coming from other fields like biochemistry, microbiology, or biotechnology in general. So all our new pharmaceutical industries are heavily supporting the medical science. So if you are in biotechnology, it is as good as you are in healthcare sector. So that way, your contribution and your job satisfaction is great in this area. So these are my few introductory words for you, and we will get along now with discussion on various possibilities you have in this line. Thank you, Rupesh.
Uh, right, sir. So, a while earlier we were talking, and you were telling me that uh, your involvement in the research with some top universities abroad
Yeah.
was like an eye opener, and that is something that a lot of people who want to have a career in biotechnology
Yeah.
can look at. So, can you throw some more light about
Yeah.
that? How a person who has the knowledge of biotechnology
Mm.
can advance in that career
Yeah.
and can reach to the levels where probably you
Mm.
reached.
Yeah. To quote my own experience here, I started with botany, but I got fascinated with a subject called that is genetics. So genetics, I went so deep into genetics that I got my PhD degree in that. But that further led me to the applications of genetics. That is a great field. That is biotechnology. I got myself interested in culturing the plant cells, and that led me to the further scope of commercial tissue culture. And I had the fortune of working in the one of the biggest commercial tissue culture in Holland. That's called Curtis Holland, and so also in India. I worked for private companies which were interested in biotechnology, and there I introduced commercial tissue culture where there's a tremendous scope to multiply plants very, very accurately on a very, very large scales. It goes to millions and millions in a very short time span as well as in a lesser space. So this is a technology which is of tremendous potential, and I had the fortune of working there. See, all these, and also I had the fortune of being in University of Florida for a advanced training in molecular biology. I was fascinated by the technology of DNA isolation, fragmentation, gene identification, and genetic modifications through recombinant DNA technology. So, see, my career, starting from botany, has taken me ahead so much that I have realized the potential of my subject, and I have great passion in this. So, I have great satisfaction also. So now I am with an institution which is having a dedication for biotechnology and related subjects. And Rupesh will tell you further, we have state-of-the-art laboratory facility, the best of the faculty, and best of the curriculum, which I will keep explaining further. And with all this, I have the satisfaction, we have created hundreds of graduates, postgraduates, who are today ruling many of the leading industries, and they have set up their own industry also. That shows the potential of the subject and our strength in making it a dream come true for many students.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. So, sir, our program is called BSc Biotechnology,
Yeah,
and biotechnology seems to be a very broad and umbrella kind of
yeah,
word.
yeah.
And I doubt whether and somebody can be called as biotechnology expert per se.
Mhm.
So we expect that this program will probably dividing it down to some specific fields and specializations
Mm.
which the student is graduating with.
Yeah, yeah.
So BSc Biotechnology program at ABBS,
Mm.
what are the specializations and areas available in this program, sir?
I will tell you to start with, we admit students who are in biology stream. So they will have the basic knowledge about the basic biology and also chemistry and physics also. But once they join here, they get into the real core basic subjects which are really part of the biotechnology, that is microbiology, genetics, biochemistry, and put together there is an exclusive subject of biotechnology which deals with the applications. So, to become a good biotechnologist, a very sound knowledge of biochemistry, microbiology, as well as genetics is very much required. With these four wonderful subjects at place in the beginning itself, at the end of these 3 years program, you become very much proficient with all the basic principles as well as skills and techniques of all these four subjects. So you fit in very well in any industry, and you'll be confident to run a lab with this background. So that's what the foundation in a way we are creating.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is it possible to probably specialize in genetics as well as in microbiology
Yeah.
both at the same time, or the student has to choose either genetics or microbiology or biotechnology? Like,
Yeah. See, here we have the four subjects. One is microbiology, genetics, biochemistry, and biotechnology.
okay,
See, biotechnology is a integrated subject, which is a combination of biochemistry, genetics, as well as microbiology. But in addition to that, based on the students' interest, we give them a specialization also within this. That is, they can take either genetics or microbiology
okay,
as one of the subjects, or even biochemistry.
okay,
By doing that, what happens is, if they take genetics, they'll have scope to go ahead in that line, but that is a fascinating field called genomics, drug designing, and human genetics. So much of new fields are going along the genetics line. At the same time, if they take microbiology, they'll be specialized in culturing various microorganisms, which are the heart of biotech industry. See, all the biotech based industries, they use a cellular system for developing products and processes. So for that, a very sound knowledge of culturing microorganisms is a must. So if you take microbiology, you get into that stream wherein you start specializing in production of antibiotics or enzymes or any other pharmaceuticals. The third option is biochemistry. Again, biochemistry has another application in biotechnology in terms of secondary metabolites. You can get into that industry wherein the cells are again employed to produce some of the high value biotech products, and that also is another commercial area. So, by virtue of your interest, you can again take the lead biotechnology as well as supporting subject of microbiology or genetics or biochemistry.
Right, wonderful. So, students, guys, probably we come to a webinar to have a lot of clarity, right? But it is also possible that after listening to all these things, maybe you are, even confused to a further level. Okay, this is so much jargon, this is so much overlapping terms. Yes, this is a possibility. So, sir, talking on the students' behalf, if let's say I am confused that whether genetics is my line or biochemistry is my line or microbiology is my line, so when do I get to understand that which field is my field and how do I make that choice?
See, basically, already you are into biology field. So, what fascinates you? See, because all the subjects have equally the same scope. Not that one is great, another is less. No. Ultimately, you are going to become biotechnologist. But being a biotechnologist with a genetics background is little different from a biotechnology with a microbiology background or biochemistry background. But already you have studied biology along with chemistry as well as physics. You know what fascinates you. If genetics fascinates you, you get into that. You are not going to remain in basic genetics here. You are going to link it to biotechnology. That advantage is there. That will take you very high. So also if you are interested in microbiology because you are interested in the study of microorganisms, then microbiology is an option. But if you are very good in laboratory techniques and want to do a lot of analytical work, like in biochemistry, you can go for that. So all the fields are equally strong, but based already you would have made up your mind what fascinates you. Based on that, you can choose.
Right. Okay, sir. So it probably you're saying that during the course of their studies,
Yeah.
they will realize the interest.
Yeah.
The first semester, it is semester based, sir.
Yeah, it is semester based.
So maybe first two semesters are same curriculum for everybody.
No, in the beginning itself, they'll have to select the subjects.
Oh, in the
The subject combination.
in the second semester and the first semester
First
itself.
semester itself.
First semester itself. So so do the students get any base on the basis of which they can make a choice?
Yeah, there are two things we can do here. One is based on your already existing qualification or the knowledge base. And when you come here, you can also discuss with our faculty members. You can see our lab facilities, and then also you can select if you are under little confusion as to which way to go. Okay. Our counselors, our faculty members will be glad to discuss with you as to what exactly you are fitting into based on your ambitions also.
No, that's great, sir. So Shreya Konda wants to probably ask something. I'll allow her to talk. Uh, Shreya, you can talk now. You can ask your question, whatever you have. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I just have a simple question. Just like if it is similar to MBBS medicine, what is the time course? Like how long is the course? Is it for 6 years or 5 years like that?
Okay, we'll tell you. I can answer.
Yes, yes, please answer, sir.
Yeah, this is basically we are following the national new education policy. So as per that, the basic degree is 3 years, but now they are also introducing the fourth year, which is equivalent to post graduation. That means 3 years you get a degree, and the fourth year if you do, then you get a post graduation because after 4 years you are directly allowed to do your PhD program. So that means basically this is a basic degree of 3 years, and with post graduation, it is 4 years degree program that we call it as BSc Honors. Okay. Then you are eligible for PhD program in India as well as abroad also.
Right. So fourth year is optional, sir.
4th year is optional.
Fourth year is optional, and the benefit of fourth year is that
Yeah.
after that they can directly go into PhD.
Go into PhD.
This is as per the new education
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah.
Right. Shreya, I hope your question is answered.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Right. So, so there was a question. We keep on going to these seminars. One very common question that comes is that BSc Biotechnology as a program, as a bachelor's program, uh, is it good to expect placement-based outcomes immediately after the program,
Okay.
or is it better to plan for higher education
Hmm.
and then think in terms of placement and working for like bigger and better companies?
See, this choice can be made based on certain criteria. Once you complete your basic program, you are a technocrat in the sense you know the basic principles of all the techniques and processes of biotechnology, but you are having that skill also, and you can straight away go for work in any industry at the laboratory level. But if you want to become a scientist and do research and development areas, then you need to have a post-graduation. So some students, they join industry after BSc. After 2 years of further experience, hands-on experience in the industry, they go for post-graduation.
Right.
But
Okay.
my suggestion based on my own experience is to go straight away from BSc to the post-graduation and do even your PhD, so that you are a complete scientist as well as a technocrat, and you can be at a very controlling level of research and development or production in any industry.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. So before we move on with the further questions, let me take this opportunity to brief you about how ABBS Bangalore, especially the School of Life Sciences, is kind of different from a lot of other such places. The first thing is that we are NAC A grade institution. We have done 3 consecutive cycles of getting A grade, which is a phenomenal outcome, which is a phenomenal proof that the quality, the delivery, the outcomes are in place, right? And we are also accredited by some international bodies like IACBE, NBA, right? So all this means nothing else. This means only one thing, that we are not judging ourselves. It is the independent and responsible bodies that are coming, that are going through the process and giving us the certification that yes, the things are going okay. That is number one. The second thing is that we have a centralized placement cell. Right, at ABBS, we offer postgraduate programs, bachelor's programs, right? And over 150 top companies in India. In fact, a lot of multinationals like Deloitte, PwC, Ernst and Young, they are coming, right? KPMG. So the advantage is that the overall environment in the campus is very focused in terms of that what is exactly needed by these companies when they come and looking, then they come to hire, right? So that environment, the library facilities, we have a digital library, so all these things, they add up to your learning experience and the quality of the education that we impart here, right? So these are important things that build an overall atmosphere of learning in any educational place, and we ensure that at ABBS we have all those things in place. Right. So moving on to the same thing, which is related to placements only. So let's say I decide to go for placement after completing my bachelor's. So what kind of companies they come and hire, and what kind of profiles they give? And once I join those companies, what would be the typical growth trajectory in those companies?
Yeah, we have industries like Cipla, Biocon, Dr. Reddy's Lab, all these pharmaceutical-based industries mainly coming to our doorstep and looking for candidates. So they basically, all these industries are into 2 things. One is research and development as well as in production. So with That's why we have made it a point to train our students both in basic research as well as in techniques, because in industry you have all the opportunities. So based on the skills and the levels of understanding of a student, they take them either in the research division or in production division, wherein our students fit very well, because our curriculum we have tuned it to make them complete, useful, with a high level of skills, so that they can choose anything in industry also.
Okay. And so what kind of profiles they get when these companies they come looking for freshers? Because we can expect that, because it's such a huge field that where
Yeah.
lot of trained and highly educated people are working.
Yeah.
So what kind of initial profiles the students can expect?
Yeah, usually they will be putting them in charge of a laboratory, because in any industry there is a process, production process. So inside the industry also they train them for a specific job. So there graduates are put in charge of certain process steps, so that they do that meticulously. As you all know, pharma industry requires high level of accuracy in the production process. So they get a job like either research assistant or a laboratory technician, or sometimes a higher level of managerial skills also they impart and make them managers or group leaders also in looking after a particular section. That is the kind of prospects they have soon after their undergraduate program.
Right, sir. So let's say placement is the final outcome,
Yeah.
and the students spend say 3 years to 4 years
Mm.
during this particular program.
Mm.
So during these 3 or 4 years, is there, apart from the academic initiatives, apart
Yeah.
from the delivery
Mm.
of classes and
Mm.
practicals and
Yeah.
laboratories,
Mm.
apart from that, is there any internship-based initiatives that makes students industry ready?
Yeah. See, we have made a sort of what is called holistic development of students. It is not just the classroom teaching. We have a setup here wherein there is a science club where regular programs are conducted to fascinate them and give them the latest information about science and development. They participate in the science club programs, wherein each student is made to prepare and present also and discuss with other colleagues about the outcomes of the various new technologies. Secondly, we have also made mandatory the projects. So internal projects wherein students make a small experiment and develop a project report and get it evaluated is another way by which a mini project we call, they learn about how to conduct an experiment, how to analyze the results, how to interpret, and how to write a small research paper. So we have encouraged our students to present the paper in conferences as well as publish in journals. They have successfully done it. And those who have done it, they're confident to work in a research organization by virtue of this. Secondly, we are also having a lot of uh, visits to various industries, because as they are doing their studies, they also should know what is large scale production. We send them to a large fermenter to see the large fermenters, large research labs like CFTRI, and Indian Institute of Science is very near to us. They go there, interact with the scientists. So by that, their vision is enlarging. So they know what is large scale production. So you want to know how enzymes are produced on a large scale, we send them to Biocon. They want to know how vaccines are produced on a very massive scale, as you have seen during the recent COVID time. So we send them to Hyderabad. They visit the various labs there and industries there to understand how vaccines are produced on a massive scale. So by this, we are educating our students well on time, so that they can easily work in a bigger environment of industry.
Great, sir. And sir, we are seeing a trend of a lot of startups coming up,
Yeah.
and we are seeing marriage of technology and science,
Yeah.
and we are seeing that
Mm.
almost everything is presented in the form of some app, which
Yeah.
is available on your mobile phone.
Mm.
And Bangalore is a place where a lot of these startups are coming up.
Yeah.
So is there's an entire field called as health tech.
Yeah.
We have fintech, we have different type of technology. So
Correct.
health tech, do we think that biotechnology
Mm.
students and graduates, they have a brighter scope because of this particular development, that a lot of health tech companies are coming up,
Yeah.
headquartered in Bangalore?
Yeah.
Does it provide a very conducive atmosphere for
Yeah.
placements of these graduates?
Yeah, sure. See, what is happening is, since our students, we are also having a innovation and entrepreneurship cell here. The students are allowed to think rationally, come out with a new idea, and we help them to write a project report on how to implement that idea. And they interact with those new startup people and try to get an idea as to how, if at all they do a venture like that, how to start. So this prior knowledge is helping them to think ahead. And in fact, few of our students have started very large scale production of diagnostic kits and other things, and they have made it a commercial venture. All this thing is starting from their time at our campus, at our lab, and with our faculty. So indirectly, we have motivated them that if not today, tomorrow, they think of starting their own venture in biotechnology, where there is a lot of scope. So we kindled their interest by way of participation in seminars, conferences, and entrepreneurship programs.
Yeah. So this reminds me, one of the student asked that why should I study science in a Achara Bangalore B school? So I said this is the reason, because we have a dedicated entrepreneurship cell, right? And a person who has studied science but who has come up with some brilliant business idea, he wants incubation support. He wants support to actually make that idea realize into a business unit. So that is the kind of atmosphere that you get, and you really, as sir was saying, that lot of the students, they have
Yeah.
actually materialized their
Yeah.
plans, and they have seen
Yeah.
the light of the day.
Correct.
Amazing, sir. So last but not the least, sir, any educational place depends a lot on the quality of the faculty.
Yeah.
So how the faculty members at School of Life Sciences at ABBS,
Yeah.
they are like, they are special. They make it different from a lot of other such colleges.
See, actually, we have made here the teaching learning as a very, very participative learning method. That is, our faculty are actually coming from industry background, on from a research and development background, and when they join here, they're continuing their interest of research as well as their interest in projects. So their teaching is one part, but indulging in other activities related to science is their passion. So there is a constantly, the teachers are interacting with students, motivating them, giving them ideas about the new developments in science. In fact, we bring out a newsletter, okay, in each department, and the science students bring out such a nice newsletter where they have put in a lot of their new ideas. So that shows they cherish the time here and also make up a vision for their future. So the faculties are unique in the sense they are not just teachers, they are well-wishers as well as a guide for each student to come up as per their vision and dream.
Right. Sir, Margaret Francis has a question, a very interesting one at that. How can a biotechnology expert help to manage the environment?
Yeah. See, environment nowadays, there's a lot of focus on environment pollution all over the world. See, one of the thing I tell you is plastic. See, plastic has become a big hazard. And recently, if you have read the literature, microplastics, the plastic breaks down into finer particles, and we call it now as microplastics. And microplastic contamination is a big threat for our marine life.
Oh,
So that is the upcoming one. So how to make this happen? One is usage of less plastic is one thing, but biotechnology also can contribute to that. There are some microorganisms which can be employed to degrade the plastic. So the research is in full swing in order to use this for eliminating plastic residues in soil as well as in water. Similarly, the other pollutants like there's a heavy metal pollution. So there are microorganisms which have the characteristic of absorbing the metallic objects from the water or soil, and they are employed in order to, that's called the bioremediation. That is, we make it free of metal toxicity. So uh, so also there are many other sources like biofuels. See, the actual availability of petroleum and petroleum products is dwindling, and over time we may lose out on that. But research is going on using algae as a source of biofuel. Work is going on in many countries, and you have the opportunity to contribute towards that. So that is another way of offsetting the imbalance. So creating a good balance between nature, ecosystem, and human interest. That is where biotechnology can play a tremendous role in various ways. So already we have witnessed a lot of applications of biotechnology in getting rid of the pollution in high seas. For example, if there is a oil spill from a big ship, the petroleum product has spilled over in the sea. So to take out that, they have now developed a technology of using a microorganism which will eat away all the petroleum spills and convert it into a useful protein, which can be a food for the marine world. See, like this, there's an endless opportunity in biotechnology for application to environmental biotechnology.
Great, great. And like the biggest greenhouse component, CO2, the
Yeah.
absorption of CO2,
Mm,
probably for that also, I was reading somewhere that
mm,
biotechnology is being used to
yeah.
absorb the extra carbon dioxide in the
Yeah.
atmosphere. And
Correct.
so brilliant, sir. Thank you so much for the answer. Guys, you are encouraged to ask as many questions as you want, because you have a wonderful opportunity of having such a great expert in front of you. Any questions, because no question is big, good, or a question is a question. It comes out of some kind of inquisitiveness, and you have every right, and in fact you have a responsibility to quench your curiosity. So Margaret, you have raised your hand, so I will allow you to talk, and you can come up with your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. You have to unmute yourself, Margaret.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think 10 years back, I have been teaching for MBA students. In that, I have been teaching environmental management system.
Okay.
So, in my class, more than half of the students, they were completed their biotechnology and came for studying MBA.
Mm.
So we were teaching management concept. In addition to that, I have been teaching environmental management system. So we had industrial visit and environmental pollution, as rightly we said. I taught them many concepts, and also for the practical exposure, I made them to visit the one of the biggest firm that is called a Binani Sink, where a lot of environmental pollutions are there, are industrial pollutants in terms of air as well as the other things like that. So in that connection, they come up with a very good case studies also. So
Mm,
in that connection, how can we go ahead with a practical project in terms of air pollutant? How to reduce the air pollutant through biotechnology research and development, and also what kind of suggestions they can give for the industry, in terms of in pipe technology. So mostly the industrial pollutants are turned to the as a waste, and it is sent to the sea. So in that connection, how a biotechnology specialist recommend or can give some recommendation for the industries?
Right. Thanks for your question, Margaret. And
Thank-
sir, you take.
Yeah, see, biotechnology is all about employing the biological system for finding a solution for all this pollution or pharmaceutical or anything. So basic thing is we make use of the natural biological system. That means we have to employ microorganisms in order to overcome the pollutants. So that is the main theme of biotechnology. So, for example, if the industry is producing a lot of effluents and releasing it to the either to the sea or to the river water or outside, so we can overcome this problem by developing organisms which can be released into that effluent, which will degrade the toxicity of the effluent water and then convert it into a useful material. By that, we can prevent the pollutants going to the drinking water or other sources of water. So it requires constant research. One way we are thinking, and we have done it also, is to depute our students to industries to work in the R&D section of the industry where they have a problem. Our students will join the team and give ideas as to what can be done as a solution. Of course, it requires research, so that takes its own time, but it can be done as a project by the student and come out with a great ideas and a pilot scheme they can experiment also, then implement on a large scale. This is the way we can integrate our institution with the industry, and this we have been doing it. We are giving the choice to students to go and work in industry like an intern and then give them a solution for their problems.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Uh, one more thing that okay, Rachna Saraswati, probably we can take up this question also, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think the permission has gone to Devappa. Devappa, you have a question to ask? You can unmute and ask. Okay.
Hello.
Devappa, your voice is not clear.
No, sir.
Okay, you don't have any question to ask? Okay, I think I gave you permission by mistake, so no issues. I think Rachna is actually interested in asking a question. So, yeah, Rachna, you have permission to talk now. You can please share your question.
First of all, a very good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
yes.
audible, Rachna. Please go ahead.
Sir, could you please brief about genetic counseling and what its scope is in India, especially?
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Rachna, for your question, sir. We'll take
Yeah. See, although knowledge-wise, we are very much aware about the genetic disorders, which are inherited disorders, but the implication and also the timely intervention is not happening much. Okay, so that has to start with a doctor investigating into the family tree and then finding out any genetic disorders existing. It may be related to cardiac problems, or it may be related to the syndromes like Down syndrome.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, Alzheimer's. If it is there in the family and if the information is known, they can act upon and give them the proper suggestion at the right time. The fact is that we don't have many genetic counseling centers, as well as hospitals are also not much focused on this issue. There is a lack of sufficient availability of counseling in this matter. But those students who are taking up genetics have an excellent opportunity to practice in human genetics and then start their own counseling center, because we give them enough knowledge about genetic disorders and the kind of counseling that is required. But practicing it is that it's waiting. So this is also as you have rightly pointed out, is a sector which can be explored by our students. They can become genetic counselors.
Excellent, sir. That is something
Yeah,
of an eye opener for me.
yeah,
And thanks, Rashna, for asking this wonderful question.
yeah.
And thanks for this wonderful answer, sir. Okay, I think Rachna, okay, you have a follow-up question, it seems. So we'll take up and probably then we can end up. Just give me a second to. Yeah, Rachna, you can if you have if there's a follow-up question, you can ask.
Yes, sir. It is a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Although I do agree we do not have much scope for it right now, what do you think might be its scope in, say, 5 years, sir?
Yeah, it's a good question and good topic. I was very happy that recently our in Karnataka state, the government has taken a decision to set up genetic counseling centers, particularly in some part of our state where they have observed a lot of cases of genetic disorders. So it is it's just an upcoming subject, and people are suffering, but they don't have adequate support. I think this needs to be built up over time. Yeah, in 5 years, I am sure it will come in a big way, because people should involve, and there should be special interest of the graduates in genetics too, or even genetics to get into this field.
Right, sir. So one question again, which is very common. I know a lot of students visit. They ask these questions that uh, library and books are one source which is very important for education. So do we have to rely on paper-based books, or there are some technical solutions so that students can refer to topmost books across the world? What is the mechanism and how we help the students in this regard, sir?
See, to answer your question, see, basically book reading is a must in any field, and particularly in science, because when you start studying a new subject, for example, genetics, you get inspired, you get motivated, you get interested in that subject only when you read the basic and a very interesting book in that. Okay, so there are some basic books in genetics also, which has to be read. You see, unless they start understanding the interesting part of a subject, they will not get into that deep. Okay. For example, in genetics, it's a Mendel's work, Gregor Mendel, who did the pioneering work in genetics.
Right, sir.
And unless you read his original research paper and then get fascinated by that, and also you read the first paper of DNA molecule, the structure being decoded in 1953 by Watson and Crick.
Watson and Crick.
See, that is the turning point in science. So science is fascination. Science is something which you can get into only with passion only. Then only you'll make some contribution also. So from that point of view, reading some fundamental books is a must. In addition, because our technology has advanced, accessing literature through online digital technology is not not a bad thing, but the value of that is the speed. You can acquire knowledge at a greater speed if you are going for digital technology. So that helps. On everyday basis, you can update your knowledge if it is a digital technology.
So students have access to this
So,
technology.
yes, in our library system, we have both. We have print versions of every important book, as well as the access to digital technology, as well as the recorded lectures also.
Okay.
So with these three, your speed of acquiring knowledge will be at a greater speed. So that's how a science student should be, every day talking about the latest developments, the pros and cons, and he should be actively debating with his other students, faculty, writing articles, publishing, generating new ideas, sharing with it. These are the activities which will make him a perfect technocrat or a scientist in future.
Right. Well, I would say, sir, interacting with you was actually reading a book, reading a very informative and motivating book. I'm sure the students will also feel the same way. One last question we can take. Shreya has raised hands. Shreya, will allow you to talk and you can put up your question and then we can wind up.
So, as you've talked about genetic disorders, right? I
Yes.
just want to ask a general question. For
Mhm.
all of these genetic disorders, is there any medical treatment or cure?
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you on one example. For example, thalassemia. Thalassemia minor has a cure. They do blood transfusion at a periodical interval, and that's a genetic disorder. So some disorders have a cure, but some disorders have to be maintained without finding a final cure or coming out of it. But one can sustain it. Okay, so those remedies are there.
Sir, I read it somewhere that this one cure is at the genetic and DNA at DNA level. Some changes can be made so that
See, for example, there's a muscle disorder where the muscle elasticity is lost because of the genetic factor. That particular gene has mutated. So now they have developed a technology called gene therapy.
Gene therapy, yeah, exactly. Sir.
So they introduced a particular gene so that starts functioning and producing that protein which is required for muscle actions. So those are all technologies in pipeline or they're under clinical trials. Once they become really standardized, it will become a common thing.
Right. Great, sir. So I think all the students, all the attendees would have thoroughly enjoyed this interaction, and I thoroughly enjoyed whatever information we got from Dr. Mahishi, and it was an absolute pleasure, absolute learning. And to sum it up, I would like to thank you once again, sir. And I wish all the very best to all the students. And in case you have any further queries related to BSc Biotechnology program, right, you can feel free to get in touch with me. I will be more than happy to help you as a admissions professional at ABBS. And you can probably jot down my number. I can dictate it here, or I can send it through the chat. So on your chat, you can see my number 9919555516. For any queries, you can put your query on WhatsApp or you can call me. I'll be more than happy to take your admission related queries. And once again, I wish all the attendees a very best and a wonderful career ahead. And once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaskar.